The year is 2006 and the world's economy seemed to be on an unshakable upwards course. The stock markets were setting records, housing prices were soaring, and everyone was optimistic. But in the background, there were signs that a storm was brewing. And in the middle of 2007, everything collapsed. No one saw it coming, right? But a handful of people did see it coming. They were outliers, and they had their eyes fixed on a phenomenon very little people knew about. They were ready for a black swan. So what is a black swan? For thousands of years, people in Europe thought that there were only white swans. There were legends going around that black swans existed, but most people shrugged it off as made-up rumors or fairy tales. There was even a common expression saying, "You're more likely to see a black swan than to X," used in the same context as the expression, "when pigs fly." However, in 1697, Dutch explorers led by Willem de Vlamingh became the first Europeans to see a black swan in Western Australia, changing what Europeans thought about swans forever. Nicholas Taleb was the one who took the story and popularized the term. He wrote a book called The Black Swan, The Impact of the Highly Improbable. In this, he described events that, according to Taleb, consist of three main rules. Taleb's first rule for black swans is their unpredictability. These events are, by their very nature, difficult if not impossible to foresee. They defy our ability to predict and plan for them. It's like trying to forecast a bolt of lightning. It happens when you least expect it. Black swans aren't just rare, they also bring severe consequences. Taleb emphasized that these events, though uncommon, have the power to change economies, industries, and even our personal lives. It's not just about expecting the unexpected, it's about understanding that when the unexpected occurs, it can have a profound impact. Perhaps the most intriguing of Taleb's rules is the idea of retrospective predictability. He argues that while black swans are difficult to predict beforehand, they often become obvious when you look back. People tend to make up explanations and rationalizations after the event has occurred, making it seem as if it should have been expected all along. To understand black swans better, let's take the turkey story as an example. The turkey lives with his owners. They bring him food every day so he can just relax. They put up a fence so the predators won't eat him. They even bring in female turkeys every month or so and give them some alone time. He's skeptical at first. Why would these humans be so nice to me? But as days turn into weeks, weeks turn into months, and months into years, he thinks, these humans are the kindest creatures on the planet. The turkey loves these humans. With every passing day, he tells himself that they're kind. Up until the day of Thanksgiving, where the turkey ends up on the human's dinner plate, losing his life, along with all the trust to the humans that have been built up for so many years. Now if turkeys were conscious beings, imagine the profound sense of betrayal that must have coursed through the turkey when it found itself being led to that dark corner of the farm. After all, there had been a year's worth of non-stop care and kindness, and the turkey had naively, albeit forcefully, trusted the humans with its safety and well-being. Paradoxically, its trust was at its highest when it faced the most life-changing moment, the day of Thanksgiving. In the turkey's case, the black swan was Thanksgiving. It was unpredictable, it carried severe consequences, and if you look at it retrospectively, it could be foreseen. But what are some bigger stories that make us grasp the idea of a black swan? In the years leading up to World War I, a series of political, social, and military factors were in motion. The great powers of Europe were struck with a complex web of alliances and rivalries. These alliances acted as pillars of peace, with no sign of impending chaos. The last big war in Europe was 100 years ago, so surely if you look back 100 years, you would make the conclusion that there was never going to be a big war in Europe ever again. But it would be foolish to think so. What no one foresaw was the incident that would shatter this illusion of stability. The assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand of Austro-Hungary in Sarajevo on the 28th of June 1914 was the unexpected event that set the world on a path to war. This was the unforeseen and highly improbable incident that triggered a cataclysmic chain of events. The aftermath of World War I was extreme. The assassination led Austro-Hungary to issue an ultimatum to Serbia, which Serbia did not fully accept. This ignited a chain reaction of declarations of war and alliances coming into play. What followed was the eruption of a global conflict that pulled in nations and transformed the serene lake of world politics into a turbulent sea of war. This carried severe consequences, starting several wars in the European region. For everyone living in Europe at the time, it was unpredictable, but once you look back, you could probably see it coming. The financial world in the mid-1980s was a bustling marketplace. Stocks were trading at extreme heights and everyone was optimistic. It was an era marked by a booming economy and a strong stock market, with few signs of an impending financial storm. However, this wouldn't last for long. In 1987, the global financial markets witnessed a catastrophic event known as Black Monday. On this day in October, stock markets around the world experienced a sudden and severe crash, a crash that no one had foreseen. The aftermath of this event was staggering. The Dow Jones Industrial Average, which is a lot of stocks from big US companies, plunged by a record 22% in a single day, erasing billions of dollars in market value. Panic and uncertainty gripped investors, leading to a frenzy of selling. This random Monday revealed the vulnerability of the financial system to unforeseen shocks. In the aftermath of Black Monday, measures were taken to prevent a recurrence, such as creation of circuit breakers to temporarily halt trading during extreme market moves.
It's one of the burning questions now is, could this happen again today?
I'm not going to say never. It's very, very unlikely because we have circuit breakers. We'll shut down for an hour. If it drops another percentage, we'll shut down for 2 hours. And if after 3 o'clock it drops a certain, the market just shuts down totally.
In December 2004, an event occurred beneath the depths of the Indian Ocean. A massive undersea earthquake, registering a magnitude of 9.1 to 9.3, struck off the coast of Sumatra, Indonesia. This movement triggered a tsunami, a wall of water that surged across the ocean, with power that had never been seen in the modern world. The event was truly cataclysmic. The tsunami waves, some as high as 100 feet, struck the coastline of multiple countries bordering the Indian Ocean. Communities were swept away and lives were lost in the blink of an eye. The sheer scale of the disaster was beyond anyone's imagination. This tragedy showed us that, however modernized our societies are, we are still at the mercy of nature's unpredictability. It prompted international efforts to improve early warning systems and disaster preparedness, as well as further efforts to strengthen international cooperation when it came to natural disasters. With all of this knowledge about black swans, can we predict or even avoid them?
They love because evolution cannot take place unless you have shocks that purge the system in a way. That's what people call creative destruction.
Simply put, kind of. You can't predict or avoid the next black swan event that's going to happen. The occurrence of these events, whether in finance, geopolitics, or the natural world, are by design unpredictable. You can become more resilient to the next black swan, becoming what Taleb coined as anti-fragile, writing a book about it. In this book, he highlights some ways to become resilient to these events. The triad of something being either fragile, robust, and anti-fragile are on a spectrum, relating to how they react to randomness. The fragile breaks when introduced to uncertainty, the robust doesn't really care, and the anti-fragile becomes stronger. An example of this would be different kinds of work and how your reputation affects it. If you're climbing the corporate ladder, you are fragile in this aspect. If you're the local mechanic with no competitors, Even if people dislike you, you still get business. This would be the robust example. And finally, take the influencer as an example. They earn money off how popular they are, but it doesn't matter if people think they're good or bad, as long as people talk about them. However, no matter how hard you try, you can't really get ready for the specific Black Swan. You could always see if a system would be exposed to a Black Swan event. Take an airplane for example. You know that it can crash, making it a fragile system, but you can try to make the plane more robust, like we've done in the past 50 years, checking if people have weapons before they board and making sure airplanes never malfunction, making it a robust system. These events, by their very nature, are characterized by their unpredictability. They are outliers, highly improbable events that fall outside the realm of normal expectations. Taleb says that there are also normal things in the world, meaning non-catastrophes, which are black swans. The internet being one of them. No one outside of a crazy few thought that it was more than a fun gimmick at best. But now it's changed the world completely, bringing about the global network you're viewing this video on. Neckties, as Taleb said. Interesting one is the tie. Someone from 2000 years ago is predicting that in the future humans will constrict their blood supply with this device to attend meetings. Even the rise of religions are black swans. No one knew which one of the religions 2000 years ago would be the biggest today. So how could we predict something that is going to happen 2000 years from now, let alone 1 year from now? All of our risk management is based on historical events, but there are great uncertainties when trying to forecast the future. Since you never really see a black swan coming, we can't figure out the properties of something that is infinite and unknown, based on something that is finite and known. No matter how we prepare ourselves for the unknown, whether it be the coming war, the environmental crises, or an impending economic crash, there remains a truth. The element of surprise still lingers. In our quest to navigate what lies ahead, we have devised complex systems that offer us an illusion of predictability. We look back in history to try to see patterns and insights. We try to understand the difficult field of economics, hoping to decipher the economic currents and tides. We even turn to meteorological forecasts, entrusting our safety and comfort to predictions of weather patterns. Yet, in life, there remains an undeniable fact that we truly never know what is going to happen in the future. At least not until after it has already happened.